All right, everyone, welcome back to YouTube. Today, it's all about finding your value, guys. I think so many men have lost this value for themselves, and part of it is because we lost who we are. Now, you guys, if you've listened to my YouTube or you've listened to the podcast, you know how big I am on foundations. And the foundations of this life, of who you are today, started a long time ago. They started back when you were in your early years of particularly 2 to 8 years old. Obviously, you're still influenced after that when you seek value for people. But two to 8 years old, you're in not almost you are in you're in this subconscious association of value. So like the value that you're giving to other people, you don't even actually create consciously. So you're receiving everything everybody gives you, and then you're putting it into your subconscious imprint. Well, that subconscious imprinting is what runs our automated system as we get later in life. And those are the things that we are unknown to us, why we behave a certain way, why something triggers us sometimes, why we act in a way in certain situations that typically we would, if we really assessed it, we'd be like, oh yeah, why do I even do that? These are all common themes. And this happens to us because in the early years, the foundation gets set in us. And if we don't take the time to evaluate it, then we run with a value system that doesn't necessarily optimize who we are individually, because we have inherent things in us that are connected to our authenticity. So when you do this, you struggle with the fact that you lose value for yourself because there's a value system that's created. Now, whether you've met everything on the value system or whether you've never achieved anything on the value system, either or, it's going to cause the same problem, which is you're going to lose value for yourself because none of this value system, we're going to make up this board here, and none of that value system is who you are inherently, which is why authenticity for me is so big, because that authenticity with you as a man, how you carry yourself, how you walk around this world, that authenticity helps you to avoid living in the three horsemen of death that I mentioned in a previous episode, and prevents you from living in a way that you lose yourself. Because as soon as you lose yourself, it's very hard to go find yourself again. You have to go back and prune a lot of different habits, a lot of different hardwiring within your brain. You have to go back and do so much work to reconstruct yourself that it doesn't allow you to really progress without going back for a long period of time. Because what you've done, the longer you wait to do this, the longer that you've lost value for yourself, the more hardwiring of the bad habits, the negative statements, the criticisms, all of those things, they play into your life. And as they do that more, it rewrites and continually rewrites that subconscious to emphasize the negativity in your life, or the version of you that isn't really authentic to you. And the more that we do that, the more that we end up leading a life that is inconsistent with who we want to be, a life that is inconsistent with our happiness, and the outcomes that we receive from it are consistent with the values that are not ours, which then leads us to be even more lost because we've just led an inconsistent and inauthentic life. This is why people call it, my belief, again, this is my own, subjective perception. My belief of midlife crises are because people have gone to a version of themselves that they feel accomplished in who that person is, of the value system that has been set for them, but it's inauthentic to them. And then the midlife crisis is, oh shit, I just lived half my life in a version of myself that's not authentic here, and now I'm having a fucking mental breakdown, right? And it doesn't always show up in like a full-blown mental breakdown, but in a micro mental breakdown in which they do erratic things. They operate in ways that are inconsistent with the person that they've been leading up to this point. Because that right there, that break, they're operating in a way that's inconsistent with the person that's led them to this point. That inconsistency is consistent with who they really are and what they really want in life and what they really want to do. But it's so far removed from what everybody knows about them that it seems weird and crazy. But had they done those same things for 30, 40, 50 years of their lives, no one would think it's crazy. It would just be normal. And then to do something opposite would be the midlife crisis. So remember, guys, when we're living in this space of trying to find this authenticity, the value system we have for ourselves is part of that authenticity. That's how we connect to it. So when we actually value who we are, we have to be consistent with that authenticity. If we're not consistent with it, we won't have value for ourselves, which then subsequently leads to being lost and confused and then unhappy. And so if you are looking for that happiness, if you're looking for developing into that man, you need to start understanding what your value system is and create that value system for yourself. If you haven't sat down and written this out and done a process to do this, you are living off of something that was given to you, not something that was written by you. The inconsistencies will show up in your life. The inauthenticity will show up in your life, and it will show up more so in a negative psychological event to who you are with internally as opposed to something externally. And you will be confused at how to address this because the fact that you haven't done the work yet to evaluate yourself and to realize that the big problem is not anywhere external to you, it's internal to you. And it was internal to you before you were aware that it was even inside of you. Yes, let that sink in. Before it was even inside of you, right? Because it was all written aware of it before you were aware of it inside of you, right? Now it was inside of you, you just weren't aware of it. That subconscious, that theta brainwave, the malleability, the sponge-like essence of our brains when we're younger absorbed all of this. And in that, it deteriorated the value of what we objectively wanted or subjectively want for ourselves and being authentic with our souls and our alignment with our hearts. Right? This is where the power lies as men. When we want to gain value for ourselves, we have to start creating a system that is authentic to us, that is written by us, and then start living by those standards. When you do that, when you live by those standards, then the authenticity comes in. Then the growth comes in, the expansion comes in, the happiness comes in, the desire is given to you in a universal aspect where you're conversing with the world, or you're conversing with the universe in an energetic state in which you are playing at that level where you're open to receiving the things that you should be receiving, man. Yeah, this gets fucking crazy. I know. Because guess what? This is stuff that I've had to work on as well over the years, man. Like, this is not shit you could have told me 5 years ago and I would have been like, yeah, cool, I believe all of it. No, I would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just like most of you right now. But I'm telling you guys this because I've seen it firsthand work in my life. I've seen it work in my wife's life. I've seen it work in our friends' lives who have implemented these same tools, and they've received similar benefits in which the universe gave them an abundance of what they wanted when they finally surrendered to the fact that they have to own their authenticity, and then they need to start implementing that authenticity to be consistent with who they are through a value system set by them. That is where the power can really shift, and that is where we gain our lives back. That is where we truly gain the ability to love every single day, to enjoy every step that we make, every breath that we have, and to really enjoy every present moment that we are in, because there is something beautiful in every moment, whether it's difficult or whether it's easy or whether it just is what it is. There is a beautiful moment in all of it. And if we choose to have that lens, we can shift the way that we see our lives. And we can start to really, really be in that happiness level that we're seeking to have. Because men, let's all face it, we all want to be happy. We all want to be able to do what we want to do, and we want to live in a way that we are just happy every single day. No guy is happy being a shithead every fucking day. No one is happy just being a dickhead every single day. Bro, if you do, you're a psychopath. And sorry, you probably got some other psychological problems. But at the end of the day, nobody's happy doing that. We want to be happy. We want to enjoy the sunshine. We want to enjoy every day waking up in our homes next to the beautiful person that we decided to be next to. Or even if you're alone, you still want to wake up every single day in your own skin, being happy with the way that you live and who you are as a human being, right? That happiness is something we all desire. We crave as men, and we are fighting it because of the fact that we were programmed differently by the earlier years, but not by our soul. And so what's inside of us is constantly conflicting with it, which creates the unhappiness that we are seeing in our lives. The unhappiness is that conflict. That is what is driving it. And when we can relieve that conflict, you can see what you receive. And that is the happiness you're looking for. So I stress to all you guys, look at your value system now. If you need a framework for this, go over to my website. Seriously, go over to my website, johnnylsasser.com, go to the Elite Man community. And in there, if you take part in being part of that, it is a framework. Every month, we're going over different pieces of the framework in which we are actually defining how to create this new value system for who we are as men. And not only that, you're getting a community of men as well to support you, and you get a community of men to chat with and to give your information to, so that they know exactly how to hold you accountable and how to support you. So if you need help doing this, that is an option. If you are looking to just do this for yourself, I don't care. Like, get to it. Do it how you see fit, but start to assess your current value system, assess where it came from, and then write a new value system for yourself that truly lights you the fuck up, that lights you up in here, that if you said, I'm going to show up as that motherfucker every day, I'm happy as shit. Like, everything I do is going to be consistent with the man I want to be, and going to be consistent with my heart, my desires, my philosophies, my morals, my integrity. And you are going to create a man that is worth living as every single day. Now, be him and write that out. But like I said, if you need direction with it, I'm here for you. I have the available option. Just go over to johnnylsasser.com, find the Elite Man program, be part of it. So get into it. It's a subscription program where you get monthly information every month. You get weekly information every week. You get PDFs and videos. You get themes. You're going to get guests. You get Q&As. Like, you get everything. So allow that to be your guidepost if you need support. And if you want to do it yourself, make sure you're honest with what you're doing. Make sure you're honest with what you're writing down, and make sure you're being honest with the values that you currently have and the values you're setting for yourself. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see y'all next week.